Yeah, please. I'm waiting for it to go live on Zoom. So if you're waiting with me. Okay, go to exit that. All right. Got it. Let me say hi. Oh, I'm late. I can't believe I looked up. It was 4:12. And next thing you know, it's now 5:07. Oops, I didn't have my alarm set. I thought, oh no, I'll figure. I got the clock right there. I'll have it all figured out. Yeah, well, I didn't. So I'm hoping that if you had joined earlier, you'll join again. Anyway, hi everyone. My name is Isla. This is Most Things Hypnosis. And I'm live at 5. Well, today it's 5:07. My apologies. But I'm here and I'm going to be quick. I have an announcement to make here in a minute. Real excited about something that I'm doing. But first, I do have a but first. I try to do just a little comedy or a little something, there was a a post about, oh, I wish I could find it. It was about mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. That's what it was. Mayonnaise and Miracle Whip. Let me go and find it real quick. It was kind of a funny that it says, and here's, I don't know if you can see it because everything's blurred. Let's see it. Oh, where'd it go? Okay, I'm going to unblur for just a minute so that it's not blurred. And you can see there's the post. All right. I'm going to blur it back because, I got dogs in the back. It says the big difference between mayo and Miracle Whip is that mayo is a savory delight to the taste buds, made from high quality eggs and oil, while Miracle Whip is a combination of Elmer's glue, cat pee, vinegar, and pond water mixed with a dash of mayo. The more you know. So hopefully you are a mayo home and not a Miracle Whip home, but if you're a combined home, you're going to have to rethink things. Okay. It's mayo in this house. Okay. I did have to help my boyfriend convert a little bit, and he might sneak it in, and I won't hold it against him because, he's my guy. Anyway, okay, so today I wasn't here last week. My apologies. Time got away from me and I was cooking and I looked up and it was, anyway, so this week, 2 weeks ago, I did a story and I really like the idea of that. So I'm going to do another inspirational story. I'm going to get off and then make an announcement. But my story is this. It's a motivational, inspirational story called The Elephant Rope. Some of you may have heard this concept before, and I have many times. So I'm just going to read it. A gentleman was passing through an elephant camp, and all of a sudden he stopped. The gentleman spotted that the elephants weren't being kept in cages or held by the use of chains. All that was holding them back from escaping the camp was a small piece of rope tied to one of their legs. It was obvious that the elephant could, at any time, break away from their bonds, but for some reason they didn't. And as the man gazed upon the elephants, he was completely confused as to why the elephants didn't just use their strength to break the rope and escape the camp. It was surprising for him, the fact that these huge creatures were being held by only a small rope tied to their front leg. While his mind was still wondering and pondering, he saw a trainer nearby. He stepped towards the trainer and asked, "May I ask why these magnificent animals just stood here and made no attempt to get away?" And when they could easily, they could do that. And the trainer smiled and replied, "Well, When they were very young and much smaller, we used the same rope to tie them, and at that age, it's enough to hold them. And as they grew up, they are conditioned to believe that they cannot break away. They believe the rope can still hold them, so they never try to break free. This amazed the gentleman man so completely. These animals could at any time break free from their bonds, but just because they believed they couldn't, they were stuck right where they were. The moral of this inspirational story is the story of this elephant is somehow metaphoric for life. Do you have an elephant mindset? Like the elephants, how many of us go through life hanging on to a belief, a false belief, that we cannot do something or something else? And that too simply because we failed it once before, we can't try again. I think that every one of us, or many of us, most of us, can relate to this story. The feeling of having failed at something or another over the years, over the time, we may have begun to believe that we are not capable enough of doing something in particular. And then we accept this label as the truth and limit ourselves to a very confined world. No matter how much the world tries to hold you back, always continue with the belief that you can and you will do it. You can achieve whatever your dream is in your life. Believing you can become successful is the most important step in actually achieving it. The false fears and obstacles and challenges should not stop you to become the success and happiness you deserve. Come out from the elephant mindset. So, what are you waiting for? Don't you want to come out to that elephant mindset? Stop blaming other people and relationships or situations and be aware of your unlimited potential. Break the false belief, the system, and start working towards your dreams and goals. You may fail 1,000 times, but I personally believe that regret is far stronger feeling than failure. And it's not really a failure. You just learned feedback of how not to do something. So break free from your ropes and try no matter what the outcome. Trying no matter what the outcome. The first step to success is the simple decision to try. Now, it's time to stop fearing and start believing. So that all of that from this post or from this story, some of you may have thoughts, maybe you have your own learnings or whatever. Here's my announcement for today. Hey there, Santa, Robert. You came on to hear the announcement. And so here it is. Last week, I was talking to a friend from years ago, and we were chatting back and forth about, he's an actor in Hollywood, and he's been doing a lot of, does commercials and guest parts or whatever. And I don't know, we just got into a conversation about the different theaters and such. And I started to check here in Visalia, because we do have a really nice theater. As a matter of fact, we have a couple of them, live play theaters. And I thought, well, let me just check it out. And so I saw that they were holding auditions, or they had held auditions for a play coming up. And then I went to that Facebook page, and this has happened so fast. On the Facebook page, they were still looking for 2 more characters to play. But what they were looking for, I didn't physically fit the build. So I sent an email saying, I'm not 45-ish and I'm not thin-bodied. I'm a more healthy size, if you will. And a little bit older than 45. I might look 50, kind of thing. They wanted me to come down and read and audition for it anyway. I'm like, uh-oh. So that was this past Monday. The auditions were at 6:30, and I sent them an email at 5. Look, I don't think I should come down. I really don't fit. You sent me the script. I don't think I'm going to be what you're looking for. I just already took myself out of it. And the reply back was, come anyway. So we got there about 10 to 7. And they were in the throes of rehearsal for this play, and they stopped to audition me. They put me in the back wing. Michael was with me, and they offered me 2 parts. So I am playing Kitty Carlisle from To Tell the Truth, and I'm playing Nancy Reagan. And it's going to be at the Ice House Theater. Opening night is September 15th, and it's going to run for 3 weeks. It's like I was,
Fantastic.
it's I had loved the theater. I've always loved the theater. As a matter of fact, I grew up in California, in Southern California, and I left when I was an adolescent to go live with different parents back and forth. But when I was 18, I came back for the purpose of getting my Oscar, well, or my Tony. And so, you know, and then, you know, I got married, have kids, and all that dream just kind of gets put on the wayside. And it's not nearly a dream so much anymore, because I'm living my calling, which is helping people as a hypnotherapist. But this is just kind of like a fun thing to do. For, I don't know, it's a great story. It's a comedy, and I'm looking forward to it. It's so weird because when I was up there auditioning, I felt so comfortable just standing there on the stage. I mean, absolutely comfortable. No nervous. It was like it didn't matter one way or the other. It's like, and I don't know, maybe that's how it's supposed to feel. But it was pretty cool. I was really excited about that. And then find out that a few months ago, I was on an interview with our local radio station here in Tulare County, the My New 97, I guess is what it's called. Well, the morning show DJ is Mike Pesto, and he's in the play too. So I actually worked with him in the play. I didn't recognize, I'd never met him, but he did interview me, but it was over the phone, obviously, because it's radio. So it was kind of like, you were Mike Pesto. So it's kind of neat, got a local celebrity in the play. So that's kind of fun. And maybe there are more knowns, because I'm new to Visalia and I've been here for almost 3 years. I call myself new because I don't know people. I know my clients and I know some people and certain little tribes that I hang out with, but I don't know like the people. So maybe this will help me get to know more people. Anyway, that's my story. And you missed the elephant story, Robert. It was a good story. You got it. Well, I didn't even.
It's not by that much.
I actually got on about 7 minutes after 5. When I looked up, I went, oh shoot, it's after 5. Oh no. And so I was late. And then you were even later. So if I hadn't been late, you wouldn't have heard any of this. I'd have just been gone.
True. But I made it. I finally made it. I've been meaning to. Past 2 weeks. I've missed the past few weeks. And
last week I wasn't there, but the week before I did a great story about 17 inches. I'm going to do that
I know that story. It's a fantastic story.
Yes. And I've modified it a little bit. So it's my story that I took from research. I'm going to actually do a Facebook Live. I just read the guy's story, but you know what? I like this story so much. I just took out all of his fluff, added my fluff, and then I'm going to tell that story. I'm going to do a Facebook Live. I was going to do it a week ago, and then I got busy with blah, blah, life, yada, whatever. And so now I'm just going to do that. So how is everything going in your world, Santa Claus? This is Santa Claus for those of you that don't know. He is a real weird Santa Claus. This is what he does all year long.
I don't know what it is about hot and humid weather that suddenly makes people think I got to book Santa Claus, but I've been booking a lot this week.
Wow.
Now, I think it may have something to do with the children returning back to school, and that kind of puts them maybe in the mindset of, holidays and everything.
Holidays are coming up, time to go.
This past week, I've been getting so many bookings and reconfirmations. You are going to be here this date and time. Yes, I got that.
Man.
And it's now, if I could just have the same thing happen with the hypnotherapy.
It'd even be better, right? Yeah. Well, it takes time. Even me, I find that I am getting busier, which I love. And this is, I'm 2.5 years in having reopened since the pandemic. I'm still not up to 25 or clients a week, but I'm doing enough to sustain what I've got. I need to, really up, but my marketing is working. It's working it's working. So I just have to do a little bit more, something I'm paying for that I'm not using, that I either have to stop paying for it or I have to start using it. So, and I'm using, and I can share that with you later, but yeah, it's working the marketing. And the biggest thing that's been helping me, believe it or not, is SEO. If you have quality SEO on your website, you get, but you're in LA and it might be a little bit more challenging because there's a lot of competition.
I know somebody who does SEO stuff. Maybe you might want to interview him. Let me see what he does. He does a lot of stuff for legal firms and law firms, and
Right?
how
No,
to
I'd love
position
to get
themselves
another,
in
yeah,
SEO.
because I know what questions to ask on SEO now. And
Cool.
people, yeah, yeah. Well, I don't do it, but I know when I do hire somebody who's doing SEO, I know what I'm looking for now. If they can't give me that, then I'll go to somebody else. So I mean, I'm still with Sandra. It's like she's just been phenomenal about making sure that I have quality. Because if my clientele to her keeps me busy, then I'm going to keep her clientele. I'm going to keep her busy.
Yes.
So that's kind of how it works. Some SEO people just don't care. There's a
Yeah.
lot of them out there that'll charge you $250 a month, and they'll SEO and optimize your website. But are they doing quality backlinks that have to do with your business? I don't need to be on a website for sunglasses, a
Yes.
backlink, I need to be, or a backlink for makeup. I don't need to do that, or light bulbs or whatever, get me in the same realm of what I am, put me on big websites that my name will pop up when theirs pops up. I guess it has something to do with that. There's a linkage. It's all about links. I don't know.
Yes.
But anyway, no, yeah, put them in touch with me. I love it. And if you have somebody that you would like to have interviewed on my show, give me a call. You can reach me right down here at this, it'll be here. It's somewhere down here on the bottom. I don't know. On YouTube, it
Yeah, there
shows
it is.
opposite or
Oh,
whatever, but you can get a hold of me there. Yes, you're going to say something.
okay. Yes. Now, something that is very important in what you said about the SEO is you now know, and it's just like hypnotherapy, relationships, anything at all, buying a car, purchasing whatever, talking to doctors, you now know the questions to ask.
Yep.
That is hugely important. And the
Yeah.
question then would be, how do you get to that point to know what questions to ask? Is there any way to know ahead of time, or is it just the hard
Well,
part,
part
experience?
of it was the rapport I built with the gal that I work with. She dove into teaching me about it. As far as this side of it, I don't have any interest in it. And some of the things she told me I thought was BS. So I'm still studying and I'm reading books about, I got to do my own marketing. And there was a book, I think his last name is Dib, the one-page marketing
I think
manager.
it's Alan Dibb.
Yeah. So I read his book, and his book was telling me things she told me. And that's when she became credible to me. And now I listen to her. And now I know when she says stuff to me, it's got to be true, because I've got confirmation from somebody who's got a bestseller. Now, maybe that's a stupid way to go about it. I don't know. But so far, she's been able to, I mean, I was getting one hit on my website a week. Now I'm getting 4 or 5 a week. And I'm getting Google hits. I've got all the Google hits that are coming in like crazy right now. That's how people find me. And then now I just have to get out there and keep posting on social media. Social media seems to be also the way to help Google. I got to do blogs. Blogs are real important. You got to have a lot of content on your website that Google can verify that you are for real. If you're not a for real thing, if they can't verify you, you're not going to go to the top of the hill.
But back to the asking the question,
Question.
know what questions to ask.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm going to ask them, how do you level me up? How do you get me to number 1?
Okay, but how did you,
No.
I guess, how did you learn what questions that you obviously studied a little bit from reading the Ellen book?
Yeah, but I listened to my SEO gal. She taught me some stuff. I believed her, but I was still skeptical because of my past bad experiences with my different SEO companies from the before, I thought it was all BS. I thought SEO was just a bunch of bunk, and because I didn't understand it. Even the SEO book for dummies is like this thick, you know.
Yeah.
But SEO, the search engine optimization, when you optimize, and I've just got my front page, homepage optimized, and then people can go to the other pages. So we've optimized the hell out of my front page of my website. And we worded it so that Google will find it and know that because it's got specific wording, and I didn't like it. I mean, I made some changes, but they were, it was a kind of a tug of war, but I had to let go because they knew what they were talking about, and now it's working.
Okay. Now
Like
something else.
how it's worded.
Something else you also mentioned was rapport. For anybody that could be watching it, how do you develop rapport with someone? Because that's important in every aspect of life,
Yeah.
relationships, sales,
Everything.
hypnotherapy, doctors, whoever,
Whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, you have
How
to.
do you develop rapport with someone?
Well, if she wanted my business, so she had to develop rapport with me. I'm just a likable person with skepticism. But for me to develop rapport with somebody, I use some NLP techniques in the session. I had a brand new client today. He breathed when I was breathing. When I start doing things and then he mimics me, just little things. I take a drink of my coffee, he took a drink of his coffee, but at first he would take a drink and then I would take it. It's mirror and pacing and leading, not scrutinizing, not mimicking and not being condescending or anything like that. Just, enough to know that I have some rapport. So when I do a conversion to hypnosis and I tell them, these physiological effects are affecting you right now, and I see them happening, I will take a deep breath. And then I watch them take a deep breath. And then I'll say something like, you're going to notice your breathing's getting deeper. And they smile because how did they know that, looking at me? But I've got this likability. I make everything about them. This person was so vulnerable, which was great because it's really nice when you have somebody coming in that's vulnerable. But they were just, I don't know, maybe they were just ready. I have another client that I'm still questioning about how I can help them.
And okay, but with the rapport on that one, now to most people who don't know about rapport, what you are talking about is called matching and mirroring. But this new client that you're still unsure of, where is it not connecting? Have you pegged that down?
We're connecting. I think she's connected more to me than I have to her. When you go into somebody's energy field, if you will, their space, there's just that energy that sometimes doesn't jive. So that, do I have, that, I don't remember the name of the crystal. It's a white frosted crystal. It's for protection.
Okay. I don't know the name of it.
I don't remember the name of it, but I've got it sitting over there. But anyway, I was just the very first time she was, and just the way she spoke and what she spoke of and how she spoke, I got concerned. Not for my safety or anything. So I nonchalantly grabbed that crystal that had it on my desk and I just held on to it and I started to feel better. Now, maybe it was placebo. I don't know. I just knew that I wasn't jiving with her. So therefore she wasn't jiving with me. She loved the session.
Good.
And she's been back a half a dozen times. It's like, great. I'm fat, ecstatic. But there are some people that you just don't know. You just don't know quite how they're going to be read until they get in your office. With rapport, I'm just assuming I'm going to like everybody. Like attracts like. So I'm just going to assume I'm going to like everybody. I have yet to have a problem with anybody ever. With all the clients that I've ever had, I've never had a problem, because they're coming to me for a problem. So if they're having a problem and they're coming to me and I'm looking for my fan, because it's hot in here. But if they're coming to me and they have an issue, then I'm going to, obviously they're going to come to me vulnerable, or at least, or with some skepticism, not knowing or whatever. Today was a really good session for that, the new client today. I have a couple more new clients this week, so we'll see how those go. But, the phone call, the first phone call, the first contact I have with them is huge. It's like that can make you or break you.
Now
So
tell us, what do you do to turn that phone call into a paying client?
I don't do anything except answer their questions and explain what hypnotherapy is. What other questions do you have for me? None. Are you sure? You okay? Great. Would you like to schedule an appointment? Is my next question. And everything is in their court. And I make it, and I really do have the feeling and emotion of, I hope they do. I'm okay if they don't. I'm okay if they do, and then they cancel. I get sometimes a little bothered if 3 people cancel in one day. It's like, okay. And then I can start, looking at universe and taking a little personal. It's like, what? But I, I'm okay with whatever happens. And I don't get offended or hurt or anything like that anymore. It's like, it's kind of the strangest, neatest, I don't know what you want to call it. It's nice. Would you like to make an appointment? End of story. And then they do or they don't.
Now, you said this doesn't offend you, but yet there are some people out there who they take it kind of as a rejection. They take it personally.
Yeah.
How do you not care?
That was about
Slide off
5.
your back or whatever.
Yeah. That's something I learned that in hypnotherapy college. Robert and I went to the same hypnotherapy college, HMI, Hypnosis Motivation Institute. And it's just, I found my X factor. I found that whatever that is for me, that formula for me, that I was able to let it go and I grew some thick skin overnight practically. It was like a moment and it just snapped. I'm like, wow, I don't have that anymore. I'm so grateful I don't have that insecurity. That's
Can
what I
you
mean.
pin
Maybe
it
the
down
insecurity.
to something specific, maybe?
Let me think.
In looking back on it, can you think of any?
Yeah. So I belonged to a church a long time ago, and great church out in Long Beach. And I'm a likable person. I believe that, but I just kept asking certain people to, hey, come on over for dinner. Let's go out to lunch. And it's like I was asking over and over and over and over again over the course of 2 years, and I wasn't taking the hint. It's like, what happened? Or there was a time when I worked at the Christian school, and this isn't a very Christian thing, but I'll try to be brief and vague in case it's ever seen. But I felt very offended, and maybe I had a right to be, but this one particular faculty had brought popsicles for the entire staff, and she had extras, and she didn't come to give me one. I don't care about the darn popsicle. I'm an adult, for crying out loud, but it was very obvious she was not going to be a sharing person towards me. And she would snuff me in the hallways. I'm like, what did I do to her? I felt so like I did something wrong. And so I finally confronted her, and she never did tell me what the problem was. But once I confronted her, I was fine, because I know I didn't do anything wrong, but if I did, she had a chance to make it right there. And she didn't. That's now it's on her. But until then, if I'm trying to get information from somebody and they're ignoring me or not talking or communicating, I don't like silence. Most of us, we don't like silence. So don't silence. Even if you don't know how to respond, 4 words. Let me think about it. 5 words. Let me think about it. And it's done. Someone like me, no problem. I won't bug you. But when you say nothing, it gets, it can be a little bit harsh. Some people react. I don't know, react. They have a reaction to something that doesn't go right in their life, and you happen to be there at that moment. My mom, she was great with this. If something didn't go right, she dropped something or a plate broke or just some little stupid thing, she'd cuss and scream and yell. I'd be terrified. But until I was an adult and I realized, oh, her yelling and screaming had nothing to do with me. She was going to do that no matter what, whether I was there or not. So that started to help me as I trickle back now to the forward. I'm like, look, as I was going through my training, I'm looking at, that was a thing. It's a concept that we learn. When you have differences in relationships, and they could be romantic relationships or business relationships, it doesn't matter. But once you understand that the differences are just that, not a personal attack against each other, not to take personally, it's just how the person's wired. So you just let them be who they are, and you be who you are. And if you jive, you jive. If you don't, you don't. Life goes on happily. And
Now,
it's weird. I don't get all bent out of shape. I take it for what it is. Like, law of attraction is the law of vibration in action. So you have to, if you're going to use law of attraction in your life, it can't be sometimes. It really should be an all or nothing. Some people try to just, sometimes, and yeah, I've used it before. Well, why don't you use it now? Kind of thing.
what I have to get back into.
Yeah, it's like
I won a $5,000 lottery scratcher back in 1985 using the law of attraction, and I had no idea it was the law of attraction. I mean, the law of attraction didn't become big until The Secret came out. I think that was 2007. And I sat there, and although I haven't seen it, I've heard a lot about it. I sat there and I thought, I was doing all this stuff back in 1985 when the lottery started.
Yeah.
I envisioned it, I was living it, I was this in it, I was that in it, and the next thing you know, I get a $5,000 scratcher.
Right? Wouldn't that be nice now?
And that's what I was.
Yeah, and it's like an everyday thing.
The 5,000 scratcher.
So here I have my own office, and it is not a cheap thing to have an office like mine. Yes. And it's so I do I have one room rented, so all the other expenses are on me. I do rent out another of my offices by the hour, by the day, or whatever. And that helps some, but 98% of my overhead is covered by my clientele. So, but now it gets to be the middle of the month and I have a choice. I can panic because there's no money to pay the bills and it's only the middle of the month, or I can just shrug my shoulders and go, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not going to put that energy out there, because let's say there isn't money to pay the bills. There's never been a time where there hasn't been. There's always enough to pay my bills, and maybe not have anything left over, but that's okay. My goal right now, increase my clientele, but also being independently sustainable. And I just shrug my shoulders and just, you know what, universe, you know what my needs are.
And how much does the Dr. John Kappas mental bank play in that?
Huge. I do on the third Wednesday of the month, I do a free class on that particular program on Zoom.
When and where do you do that?
Right here on Zoom. It's on the third Wednesday of the month. So the next time I do that will be in September. It'll be the 20th of September.
Excellent. So there you, and do you have a time yet that people can put?
Yeah, it starts at 6 o'clock Pacific, and you can go to freesuccessseminar.eventbrite.com and sign up.
Excellent. Now, to go back a little bit, when you were talking about silence, as we know, it can be a good thing, it could be a bad thing. Most people experience silence in the relationship. Somebody gets mad and they go silent, the silent treatment. But a lot of people don't know you can use silence effectively. Now, like us as hypnotherapists, one thing I learned very quick, keep your mouth shut. most people are uncomfortable with silence, and then they'll just start talking and talking. And then needless to say, when all that starts coming out real quick, because they're trying to fill the void or whatever, that's
Right.
when I get a lot of the really good stuff
Good
that
stuff.
they
Right.
haven't said. Salesmen, car dealerships, you go into a car dealership, most of these salesmen are so used to doing their spiel that when they say, so what do you think, or something like that, you're going to be driving off today. If you sit there and just kind of look at them and you remain silent, they freak.
Yeah.
They
You'll psych
said
them out.
most people are programmed, if you're talking to somebody, and if no one believes me, try it out. Next time you go to buy something, be silent. The salesman will talk a little bit and then they'll freak and they'll want to fill in that void of silence,
Mhm.
and
Oh, yeah.
you'll get an even better deal.
Oh, yeah.
And
Well, that didn't work for
silence
him.
can
Let's
be
see.
effective, and a lot of people don't
Very-
know that.
No,
Now,
it's a very, yeah.
what are some of your tips for people to practice silence, or when, where, what type of things do you do to get people to open up to you by using?
Well, I ask a lot of questions. Questions are just something I'm just gifted with. And as they're telling me their story or whatever's going on, questions start to develop. I got my little notepad and I start writing down questions, and I listen, and now I'll start connecting dots, because it's like an onion that's got layers, and all of a sudden now an onion's being peeled back. Oh, and I wonder if they thought about this. So I won't take them there. I'll ask them a question so they can take themselves there. I cannot give them the results or the answer to whatever it is that they're going through, even though I might know it. They have to get there. I won't give it away to them, and it might take several sessions. I'll know exactly what needs to be done, how they need to whatever, but they won't. I won't take them there. They have to take them. They have to take
Now,
themselves there.
when you get to that point where you're almost sitting there wanting to scream, it's right in front of you, how do you
I just leave it alone.
how do you bring it about? How do you make them see it instead of you?
Okay, like in NLP, there's a technique called parts integration.
Yes.
And I'm going to take a client, and I have to go here in a minute. So it's like you put your issue in one hand and what you desire in the other. And my goal is to bring them to let the client understand, even though you have this issue is you're in an abusive relationship, and or you're an alcoholic. Let's use that one. I'm an alcoholic and I can't get sober. I get sober and then I just fall off the wagon over and over and over and over again. So what does that look like? I go through all the submodalities, and I ask them, what is its highest purpose though? What would be the highest purpose of this monster keeping you drinking? And they're really confused, and I don't let them go. I mean, I will spend as much, some people will sit there in total silence for 10 minutes, and I'm just saying, what is its highest purpose? If they say I don't know, I say, imagine if you did know. And I don't let them get away with it. I just let them sit with it. Except one time, one client had a problem, but she was in a different space. But otherwise, it works 100% of the time. And they're just so confused. So let's say they go through what's its highest purpose, and they tell me, to take my life. Well, what's the highest purpose for taking your life? To show me life matters. Well, what's the highest purpose for showing you that life matters? To show me that I matter, you matter. What's the highest purpose for you mattering? So that I can have peace. What's the highest purpose for you to have peace? So I can be loved. Oh, love. Great. Let's go over here to what you desire. Same process. What is the highest purpose of it? Yada, yada. And I get them to the same place that's here. Love. I guide them. I don't tell them what they're doing, but once they reach both are the same, it could be peace, it could be joy, whatever it is, love is the highest. Love. Wow. Did you just notice that? They'll like look at me going, what? Both sides want the same thing. And all of a sudden now it's a light bulb. And then we work on, let's integrate them. Let's just bring them together, and bring them, it's profound. And even one client said, I forgot when it was, this week sometime, and he uses this all the time. He does this to it with himself all the time now. When he gets a decision he needs to make, he just, it's like, it's a beautiful thing. Does the little parts on his own, which is great. I mean, he doesn't do all the sub-modalities and stuff, and I can pivot and do that. Mostly I'm just trying to guide them into understanding that even though they have issue X, the subconscious mind doesn't really care that it's good or bad, right or wrong. And I've already gone over that with them. I'm showing them that it's there to protect. It believes it's helping you. Consciously, we know it's not, but it believes it is. So,
Cool.
and that's kind of where I want them to understand. So when I do theory of mind, it just kind of all opens up into a big wow kind of thing. So, yeah.
Okay. Now allow me to do this last bit here. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching Isla live at 5 Most Things Hypnosis. You can contact Isla Brock at centralvalleyhypnotherapy.com. Thank you for tuning in, and join us again next week.
Thank you, Robert. Take care and call him. If you're in LA, you call Robert Tangelo, and did you hear that voice? He can hypnotize you to sell coffee in Bermuda. Take care, everyone.